Hey guys, so this is going to be an in-depth tutorial on how to make the Psycho costume that you see in this picture here that I highlighted in yesterday's video. The first thing is to get a paper mask and some Model Magic clay. You can get them both at Hobby Lobby or Michael's or maybe even Walmart. You see in the first picture I just started to generally cut out the mask to the right shape, cut out the eye holes larger and the mouth hole, and then I'm just sculpting up slowly with the Model Magic clay to get the shape I want. In this picture you can see I kind of round out that mouthpiece a little bit more to make it look like it does in the game. This picture shows it from a side angle to see what I mean there. As you can see though, I've had to really open up the eyes and make those larger, cut the mouth hole, and I cut the top corners off the paper mask to make it look more round. Once you have it generally sculpted, I wanted a place to cover up the inside of the mouth hole, but that would still allow me to breathe and also be stable. So since I was using a computer fan, I took the grate from the computer fan and put some just black mesh over it and hot glued it in. And I hot glued that into the inside of the mask and then used some more clay to kind of smooth it out so that it wouldn't be touching me or anything. And that allows you to breathe out through the mouth hole, but it will still look black from the outside like you can see here. Kind of the next step to do after this is really just to make sure that your sculpting is where you want it to be. And here I can notice that like maybe the brow bones or not the brow bones, the cheekbones are maybe a little bit too pronounced. So you can see here that I kind of smoothed them out a little bit more. I smoothed out the inside of the mouth hole, as you can see there. And made sure the brows were the final shape that I really wanted them to be. Because once you sculpted this stuff, it dries pretty quickly. Next step was to kind of get the interior of the mouthpiece finished. So for that, I needed something that looked like a fan or some kind of turbine or whatever in there. I used a small computer fan and just gutted the inside of it. And as you can see here, I have got about 6 inches or 5 inches of bungee cord that I then wrapped around to seal that hole and make it look like it's a single unit rather than just a fan glued into a hole. You'll see in a second here that I painted those both to match the project. I painted them first like gunmetal gray, and then I used dry brushing to just get some chrome paint on the edges so it looked kind of like it was dark metal and it got scraped off in the worn places or whatever. It just makes it look like older metal. From here, I masked off the places I thought were important to the strap, which I'll talk about in a little bit, the inside of the mouth hole, and the reflectors, and I painted the entire thing a bone color. I used acrylic paint. You can get that at, again, Hobby Lobby or anything, and it's just a cream color. Next, I moved on to the lenses, and to get the shape down, I cut it out of masking tape first to get the shape I want, and then stuck that onto the sunglass lenses. And as you can see here, I just followed the line of the masking tape with a Dremel tool and a cutting wheel and cut the whole thing out. When you're using a Dremel tool or a rotary tool, make sure to wear eyeglasses or something so you're not going to get flakes of plastic in your eye. After I did all that, and after the bone colored paint had dried, I moved on to do some of the detail paint. And as you can see in the picture, I also lightly penciled everything on first. So you can see around the brow and all that, and around each of those brown lines has already been penciled beforehand, so I know it's going to be accurate. For the brown, I just used, again, brown acrylic paint that's usually used for painting models. Forgot the specific brand, but it's usually costs $2 or $3 a bottle. In this step, I took the bone-colored paint that we'd used before and did a thin strip down the middle of the brown, just because that's how it looks in the actual game. I then took the lenses, which I had already cut out, and I sculpted around more Model Magic clay as if they were like the frames for the glasses or the goggles. And I made sure that they were shaped in there right so that it fit not only the lenses but fit the eye hole openings. In this picture you can kind of just see the eye hole a little bit closer up, and you can also see the pencil markings where I'm then going to use black Sharpie to give the accent lines. In this one you can see that I've taken the kind of the frames of the goggles that I sculpted in the previous picture, and I painted them jet black. so that they really pop out and so they're not white. In this last picture, you can see that the goggles have been fixed in, the fan's been fixed in, and all those pencil markings that I had before are now done in Sharpie. And it really gives it a cel-shaded look and pretty much looks just like the mask from the game. For the rest of the costume, as you can see here, I took a old knee pad that I just had laying around from when I was a kid, and I painted all the colored parts gunmetal so that it wouldn't stand out. And then I went to Goodwill or ARC or some thrift shop and picked up a leather jacket. And gosh, that must have been like $8 or something for the leather jacket. Got it as strappy as possible. Took some old brown shorts and a couple belts and some medical tape and just wrapped it all together and put it together that way. If you guys have any more questions on any specifics on how to do this project, feel free to let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to get back to you. Thanks for watching.